Hi, my name's Niall Brennan. I'm running the 2018 Denver Rock and Roll Half Marathon for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And I'm also a level 1 certified Roadrunners Club of America coach. This is I am going to document my 16-week training build-up for the half marathon. This is currently week 4, and these videos are going to be less about my particular training and just more in general about training for a half marathon, kind of the ups and downs that you'd experience while you're training for it. And just, I'm not a professional athlete, I'm just an age grouper like everybody else, so it's kind of also talking about how you can fit everything in when you've family and work and commitments that come before running. And if you do feel generous at the end of these videos, or you find them helpful, there would be a link below to my fundraising page, and any donation would be greatly appreciated, but there's no pressure to make a donation. So this is my 4th week is finished, so 4 to 16, so I'm a quarter way through, which is kind of sometimes daunting to talk about, which I spoke last week about, just how sometimes when you're training for a race, the first few weeks are great, they're full of enthusiasm, but then you really need to settle in, and stay motivated. I just think it's all about creating a routine of practice where you don't really question, will I run today, will I not, what am I going to do? You just kind of just get out there and you just do it. But for this video, what I would probably like to talk about is just some of the speed workouts. So for me, I'm following the Hanson's half marathon method, and I'm making a couple of changes to it just for me personally. I'm just trying to take 2 days between each workout. Most of the time, there's once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks, I will have a workout that's done with only 1 day's rest. But anyways, so yeah, speed workouts. So the speed workouts for a half marathon, they're done in the first half of the program. So like the first 7 weeks are really kind of speed workouts, and really, and you're running them at your 5 to 10K speed. And I will say, so you're trying to build speed because it's less specific to the half marathon, and then you're trying to build the strength to maintain that speed in the second half of the program. So again, first half building the speed, second half maintaining the speed. So it's not like you're training for a 5K where you're really trying to do some VO2 max workouts and you're really trying to, run faster than your 5K pace. So these you run between your 5 to your 10K pace, because the main purpose of them is to build up some speed, get the leg turnover going, kind of increase the aerobic threshold, and just get the muscles really used to working hard, and just all the kind of chemistry that goes on when you push yourself that hard. And so without getting into too much detail into that, but just a practical side of actually executing a speed workout. When I try to run them, again, I'm not perfect. I don't do this every time. Sometimes I'm halfway through and I'm like, why didn't you just do what is the best way to do them? So my goal would be, let's say this week I ran 5 1,000 meter repeats, and with about a 2.5 minute break between them. So it was about 3 minutes. I can't remember, but I'm running them at about 5:50 minute mile pace. The goal would be to run the first one at the same speed as the last one. So you don't want to start off super hard and then just kind of go slower and slower and slower. Each one you really want to have them consistent, because again, you want to run at that 5 to 10K pace. And then also within each one, you don't want to start each one off really fast and then slow down. You almost want to build into it. So with these, like, again, you're really practicing control, especially when the first one being a pace you can run at the last one. And if you've done a series of these, like I did 400s, 600s, 800s, you'll have a good sense of kind of really what that speed is. So if you have a GPS watch, or even if you're going by feel, you kind of know what that effort is. But I think that's really important, because then you're super consistent through the whole thing. And there's also a bit of a mental aspect to it too. When you race like a half marathon or any race, you want to go out slow, a little slower than goal pace, which is always hard to do because there's an awful lot of adrenaline, and your first 800, your first first 800 meters, your first mile or 2 miles of a half marathon, feels like you're kind of going slow because, again, this is a pace that you can run for, you know, for like 1.5, 2 hours, potentially around 1 hour 20 if you're a little faster. But so just building that control and building that the ability to hold yourself back. That's another aspect where the mental side that'll really stand to you. So when you do start the half marathon, you can go nice and controlled. So again, in terms of executing a speed workout, you want to run the first and the last one, essentially all of them, but want to be pretty close to each other in the time that you run them at. Like I would try within like 5 seconds, they all should be, you know, within a 5-second time range, and you want to build into them. You want to, you know, start off a little slower and build it into each and repeat. Again, just building that control. Yeah, and you also want to do. You also want to warm up. I normally warm up for about a mile or two, depending on how much time I have. I do some strides, which are about 10 to 20 second bursts at about probably somewhere between, you could say, mile to 3K pace. Not that I've ever run a 3K, but you're running pretty hard. But again, it's only for 5 to 10 seconds, and you take a full recovery. So I normally do them in the second mile of my warm up, and then I'll do some drills. And well, so the strides as well. Strides are really good, and I do them on my easy runs as well sometimes too. They just build the neuromuscular pathways in your brain that just, when you run fast, it's like your body just remembers, right, this is how I run fast, this is what it feels like, so everything fires. And they, even though they're really short and they really don't tax your body that much, you get a lot of benefits, you get a lot of bang for your buck. You know, they'll make all other paces feel a little slower. And they're also fun to run really fast. And then I do some drills, which potentially I'll do a video on drills and kind of show what I do, but you could look up any video on YouTube and it would show the same drills. I'm doing high steps, butt kicks. I'm kind of jumping really high off one foot. I'm doing some kind of dynamic stretches. And then I'll get into the workout and then I'll cool down as well, again, for 1 to 2 miles, depending on how much time I have. So anyways, that's kind of like the speed workout. And I think at the beginning of your half marathon, it's definitely good to mix them in. Oh, and they'll also work on your VO2 max, which is, you know, an awful lot of your time. VO2 max, while it's an important number, it's not the most important one, but still it'll help increase your VO2 max, and that's just a level at which the lactate acid starts to build up in your body. Actually, that's aerobic threshold. But again, speed workouts, great benefit. Do them early on in a half marathon, build up, and then work the second half on building up the strength to maintain that speed. And I'll talk more about that as time goes by. And so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to list them below, and I'll get back to you. And yeah, and also put a disclaimer out there. Definitely check with your doctor before you start doing any of this. It's always good to make sure that you're in good condition. But anyways, yeah, so next week is week 5. So again, just getting into the second quarter of my training phase. It's good. I'm already starting to feel a kind of change. You know, I can feel myself getting stronger. So yeah, that's good. So I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, keep getting out there, keep training hard, just keep showing up and grinding out those miles.